So to start with, I would like to share about the candidates who come for these courses or these training. I will put forward some of my observations on that, some of the observations which I have done on the basis of some of the study which I have done earlier. So when we talk about the entry point of these kind of training program, we talk about the input aspect, and in that we think about the interest of the youth first. So it is important for us not only to see what is the demand in the economy and what is the need of the market. Also, it is important to see what our youth are looking forward towards, and what is the availability and adaptability of those ideas in the market. That is to be seen as first. So if it is a self-generated motivation for them, it becomes easier to come to the objective with which we are together for this course. So with the dissemination of information among youth, this program can initiate. And what I feel afterwards, that the first is the candidates who are coming for these training, and second, all those who would be the prospective recruiters or with whom we have got some MOU signed or some kind of collaboration in which we can have manufacturing industry, service industry all coming together. We have got some giant industry people sitting on this dais, from government, from private, and very recent development which has been seen is in the sense of service sector. We have got multiple avenues open where we can put these trainees, and this could be in the sense of the mall, multiplex, big shops, anywhere we can look into where we can have a tie-up with them where these candidates can be placed. So those who are the recruiters, that has to be seen properly. I am thinking from the day it started that why don't we think about the gender perspective in that? So it is not only that we need to see the candidates who are coming, but what is the composition of male and female candidates coming for these kind of training? Because if we are talking about the success of such kind of program, it is important to see through the lenses of the gender also. So how many male are there and how many female are there in the composition of the trainees who are there in these programs? So in addition to that, just I have heard in the morning session that IIM has got some fellowship in which they bring students to different districts where they do the skill analysis. And it is really interesting that from that you will be having some grassroots information. And these grassroots information can help in designing the whole program for the execution. So again, they say the demand and supply analysis, which actually help us in the entry point. If we talk about Jharkhand specifically, it is in context with all India. But if we come to Jharkhand, very specific, it is to see the issues which are related to tribal candidates. And some are the issues which are very social cause issues, because these interventions will help in curbing those issues, for example, trafficking. So if they have been placed properly, if they have got some recruitment, some money they are earning through that, and there is a long-lasting impact of it, then we can save them from multiple social issues also. So this is all the different concepts which we can take when we talk about the entry point, the input point. Now coming to the process. When we come to the process, as we can see, we can have classroom teaching, we can have on-job training. That is a good combination of theory and practice. But again, from where these, I can say children also, adult also, because 14 plus, 18 plus are the different criteria which has to be taken care. So these are coming from different background. So from where they are coming and where they have been fit into, that is also to be seen properly. That is adaptability of the environment, which I feel is an important concept to be seen. Suitability and feasibility. Because what we are going to do is to make them market ready. Those who are the prospective recruiters with whom we have got this training design, the program design. So this could be a market ready product, or it could be a customized product also. When it has been said that multiple industries can be approached who need some kind of specific trained people in their organization. So accordingly, you are giving a training to them. This could be one of the part. Another part could be that how we can make them equipped enough that in the coming future, if they want to shift from one industry to another industry, they can make a shift also. So that is also a challenge to be seen when we talk about the whole processing of this program. Multiple CSR interventions, I have seen that it has been done where those CSRs are coming up with these kind of program. But again, a question is that how it is executed and what is the indicators of its success. So we need to explore about the requirement and to have a lineup with the educational institutions who will be actually helping in the training of these candidates. Now coming to the final, the output, as it has been said that they will be on job and there will be stipend given. So that for that training period, it is all fine when they are apprentice and they are working there. It is very much acceptable. But what after that? Because it is also seen that all of them are not observed in that organization. There are some who are observed. There are some who are not because of some XYZ reason. But we need to see that where they are now moving towards. So what are the different prospects through which they can move further and how they can lead their life further, because it is important that it has to be a sustainability concept to it. So it is not only that we have trained them, apprentice they are and gone through this whole process and now they are placed. Those who are placed are at a package. So what is the structuring of their package? What are the different HR benefits they are getting? Apart from that, if they are not placed here, what are the substitutes available for them in the market where they can go and have their placement? So this is all a lineup to be done in this kind of program. Again, if they are placed, what's the follow-up? How long we can go for the follow-up? Is it 3 months, 6 months, a year? So how you can go ahead with the follow-up? Because the success of any program can be seen through the impact factor of it. So when we do the input, when we do the process, we come out with an output. And this output has to be seen very carefully with that they are ready for the market or not. So some of the challenges which I feel is existing in this whole is the first one is the skill, reskill and upskill, the words which has been given in the morning session also, the panel one session also. So we need to think about that also because scenario is changing very frequently. The demand of industry is also changing very frequently. Machines are changing very frequently. So how fast we can groom these candidates, because we can see there may be 5th pass out, maybe they may be 10th pass out, they may be 12th pass outs, their capacity level, their intake level, how fast they can actually take these changes with them. That also to be seen very carefully. So this is one of the important challenge which I feel. Another challenge, as I keep on saying, because I'm somebody who's from economics but working in the gender sector also. So I always see with the gender lenses, as I have said, that how many are male and female in the same way. When you come for the output, when you come for the final take of this whole program, it is important to be seen that migration could be a possibility, shift of area is a possibility. You may be having some candidates who are female candidates getting married, shifting to another location. So is it possible for industry to transfer them or they have to leave the job and shift to another location? So how far it is feasible in relocating them, that is also to be seen, and it's a challenge for such kind of program. One more thing which we academicians always feel, that is a feedback. So if one batch has crossed the whole process of this apprentice and now they are in their job structure, so we need to follow with their feedback, that what are the feedback these candidates are giving, so that it will help us out in designing the new programs and will actually polish our diamond in a better way. So this is also a possibility which lies. Then I'm coming to my another segment of TOT. As the candidates to be seen very carefully that how fast they can adapt with the changing scenario. All those who are the trainers, that also has to be seen very carefully, that how far they can adopt with the changing scenario of the market, because they have to also change themselves, then only they can change the people who are working with them. So this is the training for trainer. So the shift of the job, the feedback, training for trainer, the gender perspective, and all these skill, reskill, and upskills are the multiple challenges with which they are running with. So this is my idea about this whole program, that how we can think about industry and an academia connection through which we can have a proper input process and output analysis, which will actually help us to attain the aim with which we are planning this program. So I try to keep it short and crisp. So thank you to all of you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable insights. We welcome Ms. Devya Nambiar, ma'am, who is joining us virtually. Welcome, ma'am. Now I would like to invite Sri Captain Amitabh sir. Please come on stage and share us your viewpoints on the topic.
Thank you so much. Very good afternoon to everyone.
मोबाइल इधर चार्ज करेंगे ना
My
स्विच ऑफ कर
fellow
देगा
panelists of the dais
बार बज रहे बाबा
and
नहीं बज
audience. So, the topic of this kind of discussion is role of industries in quality training and demand-based skills. So, for starting my address, which I would like to keep it small, and then would like to have some questions from the youth who are sitting there back. So I think there's a saying which says, nothing can stop an idea whose time has come. It's by Victor Hugo, a French poet. And I think none of the army in the world can stop an idea whose time has come. And I think this is the time of India when we are going through this phase of democratic dividend. And youth is an answer to all our problems. I personally feel that. Now coming to, I think
while everyone has spoken about apprenticeship, I would like to limit myself to role of industries, the topic of today, and quality training and demand, need-based training basically. So I think couple of roles, and I wear two hats while I'm representing Tata Steel. At the same time, also a part of CSR, which is and heading the skill development function, which is on the supply side. So I think the very first thing that maybe industries can look at, and which some of the industries are practicing, is through corporate social responsibility. If we can, I would give you an example of Tata Steel. We have adopted some ITIs, and these ITIs basically have become a model ITI. And while ITI used to be a last resort for students, but now people are, queuing to get admitted in those ITIs because there is 100% placement, there is a dignity to what you're doing, and not even students are getting placed in India, but they're also going abroad. Second thing, what we can, industries can do is basically, I think this new education policies, in the higher education, we talk of professor of practice. There's so much of talent which is residing there in the industries, and they also, some of them are in their self-actualization stage. They want to give back to the society. So those people can always be leveraged to be there in the higher education sectors and, share their wisdom. So that is another thing that industries can do to improve the quality of training. Another thing that I think this World Bank project of ITIs, which desires IMC chairs to be from the industry. So I think the right kind of people who have the interest in improving the technical training scenario in the country, they should be deputed rather than, identifying just one person and sending them. So that should be carefully thought through, and a right kind of a person should be sent to be an IMC chair so that transition can happen in that institute. Another thing that probably we can think of is the industry exposure. Most of the students who are studying in the colleges, especially technical colleges, they don't get an exposure. And when we say training is not limited to the domain training. I think it is very, very important that we lay a lot of emphasis on the softer aspects of training. Basically, the work ethics, the safety, the workplace readiness in terms of, you're dealing with colleagues, you're dealing with various vendors and other places. So these are very, very important, which once you get exposed to as an apprentice or an internship. Because I personally, if you ask me, personal experiences that when we hire people through interview, it is a risk, because in half an hour or 20 minutes, probably it is not always true to get a right candidate. But in case we get an exposure through apprenticeship or an internship, probably it is easier for both the people, from the employee side and also the employer side, to assess each other, to know each other, to set expectations right. It also leads to less attrition. It leads to better job satisfaction. This is what I personally feel, and which we have experienced also. Now we have started, at least in Tata Steel Foundation, we hire through internship model. So first we provide internship. Both of the employer and employee, they both experience each other, and accordingly we then go for a long-term relationship. So this is what it is. And now coming to demand side, currently we are running on some diploma programs in mechatronics and electrical electronics. So our model is that every 6 months, there is an academic council which sits, and we take inputs from the students who have passed out. We take inputs from the industries where we are placing. And we also take input from our faculty who would like to keep themselves abreast of the latest changes, because the pace of change is very fast. In case we want to meet that pace of change, we'll have to be very agile. So we would need to be very, very agile in terms of, and I don't think it requires a lot of equipment change or something, because there are so many things which are available right there in a virtual manner. We can always use that, leverage that technology. So these are some of the things which I would like to share in my opening address, and I'd be very happy to take on questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Divya ma'am to present her insight on the theme. Ma'am, please.
Thank you very much, and a very good afternoon to everyone.
Ramakrishna ji, ma'am,
Good afternoon to all. Prashant Hotayo.
I think you're in.
Good afternoon to all. Good afternoon, ma'am. Prashant Hotayo.
Good afternoon, sir.
Ramakrishna, I think till then we can invite some other speakers. So there is some
Sounds good.
technical complexities. Give us 5 minutes to fix it up. Prashant sir and Divya, give us 5 minutes. I think it's audible now. Divya, it's audible. No, I think there's some network issue.
I am having
Then
some
five-
connectivity.
just give us
I am
5
having
minutes.
some connectivity issues. So I will examine that. If I stop the video and talk, then maybe it is better. Some bandwidth issues are there. I'm outside.
Yeah. I think they can't hear us, sir.
Oh, I see. Because I am traveling outside, I am using somewhere else. So the bandwidth is quite low here. Many times I have seen that once the video is off, it is better. Let's see.
That's right.
So last time we have met, how are you?
Fine, thank you, sir. It was a pleasure to reconnect. Avinash, I don't know if you can hear us, but we're happy to come in later after the other speakers.
Especially young people, or some feedback that is there.
Hybrid world is a more complex world than physical or online, but just wanted to of course start with thanking all the organizers for the invitation, and wanted to start with actually asking some questions about how many young people here, or when you were young, knew what you wanted to do when you grew up. Any takers? How many people knew कि मुझे ये कुछ करना है, बनना है? How many people had that clarity? Anyone? When you were 18 years old, 25 years old? Okay, so not many people have clarity. Some people know what they want to be. I think this process of, if you look at it from a young person's perspective, the process of discovering oneself, discovering what are the career options for me, discovering how do I go about making a plan, discovering how to actually go about executing a plan is probably a lifelong journey of making sense of self, navigating the family, navigating the community, navigating the world of work. So it's not as easy from a young person's perspective to be able to actually find meaning, find purpose, find a career. And to the point that was being made, that if India has to really fulfill its potential in terms of demographic dividend, we really need to focus on young people and what does it take to realize the potential for young people. And, when some of the other countries like China, Korea were at a similar stage, maybe 30 years back, 40 years back, when say the per capita income, a significant per capita income was in the range of $2,500 to $3,000. One of the major investments that these countries made was in vocational education, and was to make vocational education more aspirational and not only about saying that this is the last choice, that kuch nahi hua to vocational ho gaya, to saying that it is an aspiration, it's a first choice. So how can we make this shift to vocational being more aspirational, and where equitable, dignified attitudes are essential to make vocational aspirational. We cannot, like when I was growing up and I wanted to become a chef, my mother said, "Aap chef, kitchen mein jaake to khana nahi banaoge. मैंने तो PhD किया है, तो आप भी कुछ economic statistics कर लो." So that thing that we judge young people's choices and aspirations as adults. Adults need to change mindsets about what is good, what is bad. So that's more on the social side of things, that we oftentimes don't give the ability for young people to dream about their future and trust them. So that's one part of the argument I want to make, that trust young people. They know better than what we think they know. And they're not a problem to be solved. They are the problem solvers. So let's try to shift our paradigm of what do we think about young people? Inka kahin placement karwa dijiye, inka kahin naukri lagwa dijiye. Those are things which adults feel that they are, trying to do something good for them. So I think that one issue in this entire sort of problem is mindsets of adults. And those adults could be parents, those adults could be teachers, those adults could be, society that places a lot of importance on social acceptance of what is acceptable in my social context. On the other hand, and Quest Alliance is a non-profit. We've been working across for the last 17 years on this issue of vocational education and how do we prepare young people for the future. And what the future needs is the ability to learn, which means I need to have a beginner's mindset. I need to have the ability to negotiate my choices and break power dynamics, right? Learning to learn is not just, it doesn't come because of a subject. It comes because of meta thinking, skills that help me think. And therefore the focus needs to shift on, why am I doing what I'm doing? How is this adding value to my learning process? So there's a lot more thinking. What Quest really has been focusing on is developing curriculum that is non-curricular, in the sense that on employability skills, on 21st century skills, things like self-awareness, problem solving, critical thinking, digital literacy. We've been developing curriculum, and we've been working with the Ministry of Skills and Entrepreneurship for skill development and entrepreneurship across many states now, close to 1,000 ITI, government ITIs we work with. We've done curriculum work. We've also done training work. So working with teachers across various states, and also working with women ITIs, especially to look at what does it take to put women in non-traditional livelihoods or non-traditional skills. And I'm going to just share 3 or 4 key lessons that we've learned on how do we really get industry and the student and the institute to work more closely together. So I think one has been in terms of, student-led placement cells is one experiment we've done, which has worked well, where students go out and do market scan. They go and understand what the reality of the local environment is. They come back and present those local realities to their parents, to their peers. So you put the power in the hands of students to go out and understand the market reality and present that back. So again, putting the student more in the center. The second is that students become facilitators in the classroom, which means they inform other students about what are the upcoming career opportunities, how can students take a more active role, because a lot of students have only 5-6 career ideas about 5-6 careers. We know what they are: engineer, police, doctor, bank, etc. So we need to start educating learners to be aware about the upcoming career opportunities and accept that those 5 which are more socially acceptable are not the only 5. We need to move out and understand that the world of work is changing. So student leaders can inform other students and not necessarily only rely on training to be making students more aware of these career opportunities. Especially women need work with families more than men. So women need to, families of women need to be counseled about how they can allow or how work is a safe option, especially when they go out, etc. So family engagement is critical when it comes to women and wanting women to be placed in the workforce. What we are seeing is that there's definitely more openness for vocational now with learners. They are accepting apprenticeship as a great option. So I think there is a good progress that we are seeing amongst learners where they are enrolling for these courses, but we are not seeing as much that portals are there for enrollment, but actually being able to find jobs, actually being able to convert those profiles into good work opportunities. There is still some work that needs to be done on the demand side in terms of having more listings, being able to find the right algorithms to do matching, etc. So I think that's something that's there. And the other thing I'll say is assessments. We tend to assess through knowledge, while what is required for even industry is to assess on the job, to assess through application. And those kinds of assessments we need to still think about and what kind of assessments will we do to really test for employability. It could be through projects, it could be through mock interviews, it could be through various strategies that are not always knowledge based. So those are things which we still need to think about to be able to make young people sort of ready for the work. So yeah, I'll end with that in terms of some thoughts and talk further as we go along. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, so now, Divya, please share your viewpoints on the theme, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, and a very good afternoon to everyone. Just want to check if everyone can hear me. Okay, so I'm assuming that you can hear me. Great. So it's a real pleasure to be here, and especially with some of the other panelists, many of whom I'd met a few months ago on another conclave at IIM Ranchi. And a very warm welcome and hello to many of the fellows who are in the audience. I can't see you, but I'm hoping very much that you can hear me, and I'd love to answer any questions that you have.
Some echo is going on. Some echo
There's
is
actually a very strong echo.
Yeah, some echo is going on.
Yes, is the echo better now? Okay. So, so I just wanted to highlight 3 key points when we speak about apprentices. And before that, let me give you a little bit of context and background on where I'm coming from. So I've been researching skill development in India for the last 12 years, and there has been a huge shift in the ecosystem trying to connect training to employers. And we see this both in the amendments of the Apprenticeship Act that were done back in 2014, and another round of amendments happened in 2019. And the idea was to deepen this connect between training and the skills that young people have. But what does it really take to make young people employable today? And why is this important? So just let's step back and
Excuse me,
think
Divya,
about three
ma'am,
key
you are not
stakeholders
audible,
in the
so-
skills ecosystem.
Please use the
There's
mic for
the
5
training
minutes.
provider or the training institution
Dibeji, they are not able to hear you.
and the young person. So I'd
They are
like to
not able
start
to-
with the young person because those are the people that most of us here
Excuse me, Divya, ma'am.
can hear. Can you not hear me?
Ma'am,
I am able to hear you, but they are not able to hear you.
Ah, okay.
Thank you, ma'am. So I would like to invite our chancellor, so please come on.
I'll come back later.
And his viewpoints.
My fellow panelists, distinguished guests, and I see some cadets sitting there. In fact, आप लोग कभी कोई शूटिंग देखने गए हो? फिल्म की शूटिंग? हाँ, फिल्म की शूटिंग देखा कभी? नहीं देखे? कभी आप जब कोई फिल्म की शूटिंग देखने जाते हो तो फिल्म चल रहा होता है और बहुत सारे लोग उधर घेर के खड़े रहते हैं देखने के लिए कि क्या हो रहा है। तो मुझे भी यहाँ देखने के लिए बुलाया गया था। यहाँ पे एक फिल्म चलेगी अप्रेंटिसशिप के ऊपर, आप भी देखने आ जाओ, क्योंकि आप भी झारखंड में स्किल डेवलपमेंट मिशन में काम करते थे। मैं झारखंड स्किल डेवलपमेंट मिशन का सीईओ था, तो मैं भी ये पिक्चर देखने आ गया। बट यहाँ पता चलो जैसे गेस्ट आर्टिस्ट होते हैं ना कि चलो ये हीरो नहीं आया, आके खड़े हो यहाँ बैठ जाओ, आप भी एक्टिंग कर लो। तो आई एम हियर एज दैट एक्टर, गेस्ट आर्टिस्ट, not plan to speak, not really plan to tell you what all apprenticeship is. Of course, I have been working in that domain. काफी सालों तक काम किया स्किल डेवलपमेंट के ऊपर, अप्रेंटिसशिप के ऊपर। तो मैं ये शेयर करना चाह रहा था आपसे, एक ओवरऑल पिक्चर मैं शेयर करूंगा, क्योंकि हमने इस राज्य के कौशल विकास को, इस राज्य के प्लेसमेंट को, रोजगार को, युवाओं के एस्पिरेशंस को देखा है। यहाँ की इंडस्ट्रीज को समझने की कोशिश की है। और सरकार में तो मैं बैठा ही था सर, मैं ये भी थोड़ा बहुत जानता हूं कि सरकार काम कैसे करे। तो एक्चुअली स्किल डेवलपमेंट जो है ना, जिसे वर्ल्ड वाइड टिबेट भी कहते हैं, टेक्निकल वोकेशनल एजुकेशन एंड ट्रेनिंग, तो ये स्किल डेवलपमेंट जो है, ये इकोनॉमी जैसे जैसे ग्रो करती है ना, वैसे ही स्किल डेवलपमेंट उसके साथ साथ ही ग्रो करता है। क्योंकि जब इकोनॉमी ग्रो करती है तो क्या होता है, आपको उस इकोनॉमी को ड्राइव करने के लिए रिसोर्सेज चाहिए, और ह्यूमन रिसोर्स जो है वो सबसे वाइटल, क्रिटिकल एंड कॉम्प्लेक्स रिसोर्स है। क्योंकि वो चाहे तो आपकी इकोनॉमी को बहुत ऊपर तक चढ़ा सकता है, और नहीं तो फिर आप नीचे ऑर्डिनरी पेवमेंट पे आपकी इकोनॉमी चल सकती है। इकोनॉमी कैसे बढ़ती है, कैसे कैसे बढ़ी है अभी तक? पहले जो होता था, लोग गांव में खेतों में काम करते थे, तो इकोनॉमी का जो ग्रोथ था, दैट यूज्ड टू बी ड्रिवन बाय द लेबर इंटेंसिव इकोनॉमी होती। किसान खेतों में काम किया, मजदूर कंस्ट्रक्शन में काम किया, जितना काम किया उतना इनकम हुआ, वैसे इकोनॉमी ग्रो की। वक्त बदला और इसके बाद हो गया कि अच्छा काम तो कर लेते हैं बट उसमें स्किल की क्या जरूरत है, स्किल इंटेंसिव हो गया कि अगर अच्छे से आपने कुम्हार ने पॉटरी अच्छी बना दी, कारपेंटर ने अच्छे फर्नीचर बना दिए, तो आपको अच्छी कमाई हो जाएगी, आपकी इकोनॉमी उसी तरह से बढ़ेगी। तो लेबर इंटेंसिव से स्किल इंटेंसिव इकोनॉमी हो गई, डिमांड और बढ़ा, इकोनॉमी और आगे बढ़ी, और इसके बाद उस लेबर और स्किल को धीरे धीरे टेक्नोलॉजी ने, मशीन्स ने रिप्लेस किया। तो बड़ी मशीन, अच्छी टेक्नोलॉजी, कैपिटल इंटेंसिव इक्विपमेंट, तो फिर उसी हिसाब से आपकी इकोनॉमी ग्रो करने लगी। तो वो हो गया हमारा टेक्नोलॉजी एंड कैपिटल इंटेंसिव, कैपिटल ड्रिवन इकोनॉमी। हमारी चीजें, हमारी ख्वाहिशें, हमारी ग्रोथ की आकांक्षाएं, इच्छाएं और बढ़ी, और इसके बाद हम उसमें इनोवेशन करने लगे कि इसको और अच्छी तरीके से कैसे किया जा सकता। तो हम जो कैपिटल इंटेंसिव इकोनॉमी थी उससे आगे बढ़ के हम पहुंच गए इनोवेशन एंड नॉलेज पे। आप अगर अच्छे प्रोग्राम बना सकते हो, अच्छे प्रोडक्शन लाइन बना सकते हो, एफिशिएंट प्रोडक्शन लाइन बना सकते हो, तो इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ फास्टर होने लगे। और अब जो नॉलेज इकोनॉमी से बढ़ के हम कहां पहुंच गए हैं, ये सारे ऐप बेस्ड, और हम अब जो आगे और कहते हैं इसको इंडस्ट्री 4.0 या फ्यूचर इकोनॉमी, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग, तो इन सब चीजों का सहारा लेकर के ड्राइवरलेस कार, मतलब वहां पे ऐसा है कि हमारी इकोनॉमी इस स्टेज में पहुंच गई कि आइटरेटिव प्रोसेस से हम इंडस्ट्री 4.0 या फ्यूचर इकोनॉमी, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के द्वारा अपनी इकोनॉमी को ग्रो करने की कोशिश करें। मैं इसलिए ये कहानी कह रहा हूं क्योंकि हमारी ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेस और हमारे स्किल की रिक्वायरमेंट इन इकोनॉमी के सहारे बढ़ी है। अब आप एटीएम मशीन पे नहीं जाते, मोबाइल से पैसे ट्रांसफर कर देते हो, गूगल पे से चला जाता है। हाँ, जरूरत हम तो अब आपको ये सीखना पड़ेगा कि हमारा गूगल पे कैसे काम करता है। और जो लोग चोरी डकैती करते थे उनके स्किल बदल गए, और वो कहते हैं कैसे हैक करेंगे हम इस कंप्यूटर को, हम इस प्रोग्राम को, हम इस ऐप को। तो आप देख रहे हो कैसे कैसे स्किल बदलता जा रहा है। तो स्किल की रिक्वायरमेंट, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स की रिक्वायरमेंट उसी तरह बदलते जा रही है। और मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूं कि आपको भी, हम सबको अपने अपने स्किल को फटाफट लर्न करना, लेकिन फटाफट लर्न करने से पहले, अभी आकाश सेठी जी बता रहे थे, जल्दी जल्दी लर्न करना है और भी नए नए स्किल लर्न करने हैं। मैं कहता हूं उससे पहले जरूरत है कितनी जल्दी आप अपने स्किल को अनलर्न कर सकते हो। अगर आप पहले से वही करते जा रहे हो जो करते आए हो, तो फिर आपका ग्रोथ नहीं होने वाला। आपको पहले चीजें अनलर्न करनी पड़ेगी। जो आप सीख के आए हो, मैंने आईआईटी में जो मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ा था, शायद ही उसका कोई यूज हो रहा हो, क्योंकि उन सब चीजों को भूलना पड़ता है। और आज टेक्नोलॉजी कैसे काम कर रही है, एप्स कैसे काम कर रहे हैं, वो सीखना पड़ता है। तो आप सब लोगों को, खास करके जो उस एज ब्रैकेट में है, क्योंकि इंडिया एक यंग इकोनॉमी है, यंग पॉपुलेशन है, तो यहाँ पे आपको अनलर्न करना पड़ेगा, रीलर्न करना पड़ेगा, नई चीजें सीखनी पड़ेगी, और तब आपका ग्रोथ होगा। तो आपके स्किल्स की रिक्वायरमेंट उसी तरह बढ़ती जा रही है। तो आप समझ सकते हो स्किल में आप कहाँ फिट होते हो, हमारा रोल कहाँ फिट होता है। और लर्निंग फास्ट एंड लर्निंग अगेन फास्ट। अब थोड़ा सा हम अप्रेंटिसशिप के बारे में बोलते हैं। अप्रेंटिसशिप जो है ये बेसिकली इसको स्टेबल करने के लिए ना इसके 3 ट्राइपॉड है। आप 2 पे खड़ा कर दोगे तो गिर जाएगा, तो ट्राइपॉड पे खड़ा है। ये ह्यूमन रिसोर्स, हमारे स्किल, अप्रेंटिसशिप, प्लेसमेंट, ये सारा ट्राइपॉड पे खड़ा है। और वो 3 पांव कौन कौन से हैं? एक तो इंडस्ट्री है, सबसे जरूरी, सबसे महत्वपूर्ण पांव जो है उस ट्राइपॉड का, वो इंडस्ट्री है, क्योंकि उसी को आदमी की जरूरत है। दूसरा पांव क्या है? उस इंडस्ट्री को रेगुलेट करने के लिए रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज हैं, सरकार है। और जो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है वो तीसरा कौन है? आप है। आप मतलब जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, जो यूथ है, ये तीनों ट्राइपॉड हैं इस इंडस्ट्री को, इस पूरे मशीनरी को चलाने के लिए। अब तीनों की जरूरतें अलग अलग। हमारी जरूरत एज ए स्टूडेंट है कि मुझे ज्यादा से ज्यादा पैसा मिले। इंडस्ट्री की जरूरत है कि कम से कम कॉस्ट में, कम से कम, ज्यादा से ज्यादा एफिशिएंसी, कम से कम कॉस्ट, ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्रोडक्टिविटी। तो उससे हमें इंडस्ट्री की अलग रिक्वायरमेंट। और तीसरी सरकार की रिक्वायरमेंट है, सरकार के वेलफेयर स्कीम्स है। तो इंडस्ट्री की क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है? और इंडस्ट्री जो है, ये जो स्किल डेवलपमेंट डोमेन है ना, इसको हमने जिया है। इसलिए कह रहा हूं कि स्किल डेवलपमेंट डोमेन और इंडस्ट्री, ये दोनों ही म्यूचुअली सपोर्टिव है, म्यूचुअली बेनिफिशियल रोल में इन्हें काम करना पड़ता है। अगर सिर्फ एक इंडस्ट्री चाहेगी कि मुझे, अरे इससे स्किल डेवलपमेंट सपोर्ट करने से मेरे को कुछ फायदा नहीं होने वाला है, अगर वो ऐसा सोचेगी कि मुझे कुछ फायदा नहीं होने वाला, कुछ दिन बाद वो अपने आप को विड्रॉ कर लेगी। दे विल नॉट बाय इनटू द स्किलिंग डोमेन। और ज्यादातर केस में ऐसा ही हो रहा है कि इंडस्ट्री ने अभी तक कौशल विकास के डोमेन को फुली एब्जॉर्ब ही नहीं किया है, उसका बाइन ही नहीं किया है। इसीलिए हम लड़खड़ा के चल रहे हैं। ये ट्राइपॉड अभी भी स्टेबल नहीं है। और जब तक ये म्यूचुअली विन विन नहीं होगा, जब तक कि स्किल डेवलपमेंट डोमेन सोचेगा कि ठीक है हमें इंडस्ट्री को सपोर्ट करना है, इंडस्ट्री को कैसे रिसोर्स चाहिए वैसे ही रिसोर्स हमें प्रोवाइड करने हैं, उसके हिसाब से अपनी जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन, अपनी स्पेसिफिकेशन, अपनी ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम को बनाना है और इंडस्ट्री की रिक्वायरमेंट को फुलफिल करना है। तब जाकर के स्किल डेवलपमेंट डोमेन वैसा प्रोग्राम बना के वैसे प्रोडक्ट इंडस्ट्री को दे पाएगा। और इंडस्ट्री को जब अच्छा प्रोडक्ट मिलेगा तो वो अच्छी सैलरी भी देगा, नेचुरली देगा। तो स्किल डेवलपमेंट डोमेन उससे भी बेनिफिट होगा। तो जब इंडस्ट्री बेनिफिट होगा, स्किल डेवलपमेंट डोमेन भी बेनिफिट होगा। और सरकार जो है, सरकार चाहती है हम एक वेलफेयर स्कीम्स चलाएं जिससे हमारी जनता का भला हो, इकोनॉमी भी ग्रो करे। तो सरकार भी इस तरह से प्ले कर रही है कि जैसे हमारे वेलफेयर और प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी दोनों के बीच में एक सामंजस्य बनता रहे, बिकॉज सरकार को भी आगे काम करना है और वो पैसे से फिर कंट्री का ग्रोथ करना है। तो सरकार, और मैं तो कहूंगा कि मेरा अनुभव है कि सरकार खास करके अप्रेंटिसशिप के लिए बहुत काम कर रही है, बहुत आगे बढ़ रही है। अब वो पुलिस राज, इंस्पेक्टर राज खत्म हो गया। अब जो है यहाँ पे वो आगे बढ़ के नैप्स 2016, नेशनल अप्रेंटिसशिप प्रमोशन स्कीम 2016 जब आई तो सरकार बहुत कुछ कॉम्प्रोमाइज करके आगे आई कि भाई आप प्रोग्राम बना लो, आपकी जो मशीन है, आपके जो प्लांट है, उसके हिसाब से प्रोग्राम बना लो। मैं आपको प्रोग्राम बनाने में भी सपोर्ट करूंगा, मैं आपको स्कॉलरशिप देने, स्टूडेंट्स को स्टाइपेंड देने में भी सपोर्ट करूंगा। तो सरकार काफी आगे आई। और तीसरा चीज जो है, तीसरा ट्राइपॉड का तीसरा जो पैर है, वो है स्टूडेंट का। तो ये स्टूडेंट जो है, ये भी, इनको थोड़ा सा माइंडसेट बदलना पड़ेगा। क्योंकि बहुत सारे बच्चों से मैं बात करता आया, ये झारखंड में हर जगह घूम घूम के मैंने बच्चों से बात की है, उनके एक्सपेक्टेशंस बहुत है, लेकिन एक्सपेक्टेशन के साथ साथ आपको एक्सेप्टेंस, इंडस्ट्री का एक्सेप्टेंस भी पाना पड़ेगा। आप जब वहां जाते हो, आपको उनके हिसाब से, उनके एक्सपेक्टेशन, उनके भी एक्सपेक्टेशन है, उनके एक्सपेक्टेशन से काम करना पड़ेगा। और जब आप उनके प्रोसेसेस को, उनकी प्रोडक्टिविटी को, उनके प्रोडक्शन चेन को समझोगे, तो ही आप ये प्रोडक्टिविटी, एफिशिएंसी, सेफ्टी, रिलायबिलिटी, ये सारी चीजों को सीख पाओगे और उनको एफिशिएंटली अपना कंट्रीब्यूट कर पाओगे। उनके जो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स है, बिजनेस ऑब्जेक्टिव्स जो है, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी का उनका जो ऑब्जेक्टिव है। दूसरी चीज ये है कि इन यूथ को आज सिर्फ वर्क रेडी नहीं होना है, सिर्फ काम के लिए तैयार नहीं होना है। दे डोंट हैव टू बी ओनली वर्क रेडी बट वर्ल्ड रेडी। उनको समाज की भी उनकी एक्सपेक्टेशंस है, उनके फैमिली की एक्सपेक्टेशंस है, उन सबको भी मीट करना है। तो यू हैव टू लर्न इन सच अ वे दैट यू आर नॉट ओनली बेनिफिशियल, आप सिर्फ अपने आप के लिए मददगार नहीं हो, आप अपने परिवार, अपने समाज, सबके लिए हो, पूरी सोसाइटी के लिए हो। तो यू हैव टू बी नॉट ओनली वर्क रेडी बट world ready. You don't only have to learn to do, but learn to be. सिर्फ काम करने के लिए नहीं सीखना है, अपनी एक पहचान बनानी है समाज में, राष्ट्र के योगदान में, अपनी एक पहचान बनानी, अपने आप को एक अच्छा नागरिक बनाना है। So not only learning to do, but learning to be in this world. I think मैं बहुत कुछ बोल गया, जितने के लिए मैं तैयार नहीं था, but what you have to do is अपने hands को equip करो, जिसको हम कहते हैं hands on। अपने mind को equip करो कि हमें समाज के लिए, देश के लिए कुछ कंट्रीब्यूट करना है। इनोवेटिव चीजें हो रही हैं आजकल, इकोनॉमी जैसे मैंने बताया बदली है, वैसे ही अपने माइंड को भी बदलते रहना है। एंड थर्ड इज हार्ट्स ऑन, आपको एक अच्छा नागरिक भी बनना है, अपने हार्ट को भी समाज को देना है, देश को देना है। सो स्किल डेवलपमेंट और ये कौशल विकास इज नॉट ओनली हैंड्स ऑन, इट्स हैंड्स ऑन, माइंड्स ऑन एंड हार्ट्स ऑन। इसके लिए आपको अपने आप को तैयार करना है। जाते जाते मैं सिर्फ अपने स्किल डेवलपमेंट के बच्चों के लिए एक चीज कहना चाहूंगा कि परिंदों को मंजिल मिलेगी जरूर, परिंदों को मंजिल मिलेगी जरूर, ये इनके फैले हुए पर बोलते हैं, ये इनके फैले हुए पर बोलते हैं। अक्सर वो बच्चे, अक्सर वो युवा खामोश होते हैं जमाने में जिनके हुनर बोलते हैं, जमाने में जिनके हुनर। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful speech. Now I'd like to invite Ajit, Prashant sir. Prashant sir.
Yeah, I am very much here because of bandwidth. Because of bandwidth, can I keep the this thing photograph off?
Yeah, you are good for now. Just 1 second, because Dr. Rajsri ma'am has to leave for a appointment. So she's leaving now. Thank you so much, ma'am.
But why so much of echo? Quite a big echo, actually. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
But why echo is there? Whether many people have this thing there virtually they have logged in there. At least people can make it off, mute. Yeah, it is better now.
Yeah, it is.
Because people nearby, if they make them unmute, that really creates echo. So we can be a little bit cooperative in this regard. So can I? Oh, still echo is there. Still echo is there. Dibeji, are you getting that echo?
I was until a couple of seconds ago, but now it's not coming.
Okay, great. Okay, let me stop my video and try. So now, am I better? Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So dignitaries and the speakers on the dais, good afternoon to all of you. Am I audible to you?
Yes.
Avinash, am I audible to you? Nothing from that side, no response. I'm asking, yeah, okay. So can I speak now? Can I present? Can I speak now?
Yes.
Okay. So good afternoon all. The first thing I want to really apologize to everybody because physically actually, see, I have been asked to on the video, but the moment I am making the on video, there is a voice interruption. So that's why I'm just trying to submit that. Can I stop the video and talk?
Now, okay.
Okay. So basically, number one is that I want to apologize for everybody because last minute I had to cancel because of the director's visit. Maybe another half an hour. I am expecting the directors to land in Bhubaneswar. So there is a sudden visit of my director. So that's why I had to cancel my visit, their physical visit. But it's always a pleasure to be in IIM Ranchi. And I feel I have learned more there going physically because there is nothing called better than PSC, pure human contacts. So when we meet, there are the eye contacts, the chemistry is established, we start asking questions, so we meet offline. A lot of things happen there, which is not, I'm missing it today. So this is my loss rather than the loss of the IT and everybody. So point is that I am not an expert in apprentice, but let me tell you the whole issue which I am listening from other speakers. Maybe my previous speaker had really hit the putt. The way he was really presenting, it is admirable. The tripod he was talking of, I fully accept. But let's first agree to one point. By getting into all this artificial intelligence and everything is welcome. But suppose in my metal and mining industry, in any SSD unit, I'm talking of fabrication units and all those things, certainly we need human hands. We need very, very skilled human professionals, and who are not only quality conscious, they should be the third generation innovators, and they should be highly safety conscious. These are the tripods which I am talking about, because more than industries, more than any corporates, we actually doing a favor to the country by contributing quality manpower to the skill pool of this country. Last time also I had spoken in IIM Ranchi. I was speaking of, if anything has changed in the economy of this country, it is the skill in the civilization. May it be, last time I'm just repeating it, from forest economy to agricultural economy, agriculture to industry economy, industry economy to service economy to artificial intelligence, or the fourth generation technology we are talking of. Everything, the civilization has progressed because of the skill. But the whole issue is this: the topic we are discussing is apprentice, where hands-on learning, that is most important. And why this is important? This has been made an act way back in 1961, and we feel its relevance now also. As Divyaji was telling, that in 2019, the latest amendment has come. There has been substantial amendment in 2014, and before that in 1973, 1986. We have undergone several amendments on it. But let's be very honest about it. The apprentice scheme has not touched that kind of success that should have bagged actually by this time. The reason is a lose-lose. Instead of a win-win situation, the result has been a lose-lose situation. The industries are losing, the skilled people are losing, and as a matter of fact, the country is losing by not giving emphasis on that. To that extent, too, there has been an amendment in that in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs 2016, there has been a circular that, the compulsion, the statute says from 2.5% to 15% of the manpower can be, from the apprentice, and beyond 2.5%, whatever expenditure is being made, that can be booked to the CSR. So there is a golden opportunity actually, because the industries can book the expenditure to the CSR. But then why the industries are not that much attracted to the apprentice? Post COVID pandemic, it can be very economic for the industries also, because they get quality manpower at a lower cost. But the issue is that whether the cost has to be that low. A graduate engineer, I think he is getting 9,000 rupees. Again, we have to rethink on this kind of stipend, in this kind of remuneration. And there is no obligation on the part of the industries to employ them. This is also a matter of concern. Number three, the university. The universities has to design the sandwich courses where the apprenticeship has to be compulsory. These are the things which are missing, for which we are losing the focus on the apprenticeship. And apprenticeship is something, it's like like the internship in a medical. If you think of a medical student, if he has not seen a body, if he has not seen the anatomy, if he has not seen the dissection, if he has not seen how if he is not a part of the surgery, where how the arteries, how the veins are carrying the blood and dispelling the bloods and everything, all those things, can he become a good doctor? Like that, if a skilled person, maybe from ITI, maybe from engineering college, maybe from any vocational institute, if he's not practically in an industry setup and has not seen the industry operational, so that is why there are different schemes, as you know, that Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship at the national level, DGT for designated trades and NSDC for optional trades. At state level, there is the State Skill Development Mission. Ministry of Education is running the National Apprenticeship Training Scheme implemented by the Board of Apprenticeship Training. So several options Government of India has given us, the Act has given us, the rules has given us. But then why the industries are not strictly abiding to it, though it is statutory obligation? by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs circular dated 12th February 2016. You can note it down. So there is also, you can book the expenditure beyond 2.5% to the CSR. But if you look at the minimum stipend, school pass out, class 5th to class 9th is 5,000. School pass out up to 10th, up to class 10th is 6,000. School pass out of school class 12th is 7,000. National or state certificate holder is 7,000. Then it is going up to the graduate apprentice or apprentice degree up to 9,000 per month. Let's be very honest, whether people will be interested for this kind of stipend to the industries. Let's be very candid and have our own views on this. We are not criticizing. We are only trying to supplement how things can be more effective. Second is that it has to be industry friendly also. See, a win-win situation will come only when the industry gains and the skilled person gains. And as a result, why I am talking of the country, the policy and the state involved, because who is getting richer by day? It is the country which is benefiting. If the skilled persons are better skilled, has finer skills, and the industries are getting easy access to the human resources that my previous speaker was talking of, the most critical resources who are the key to the changes, right from forest economy to the artificial intelligence economy. Everywhere it is the human resources who have made the change. So if the country has to gain, then country has to give focus. There has to be a policy focus. There has to be an academia focus. There has to be a curriculum focus. There has to be the industry focus. There has to be beyond this 2.5% or 15% or whatever it is. The industries need to be attracted. Mainly the private sectors, beyond the planet, the triple bottom line, people, planet, and profit. So profit is the bottom line. So industries look for their gain also. And now every industry is thinking of an innovation, because the world has become very innovative, and the kind of speed the innovation are going on. The new patents are getting registered. Our manpower has to be ready for that. So the apprentice people should not be treated as a regular roti kapda and this thing, that we are just aata ko gund ke fir usko roti bana dena, fir isko whatever use you want to do, you do. No, they are the part of our innovation journey. They are the part of this nation building. And once they are into a ITI or in an engineering college or any vocational skill, they're national resources now, because country can only move with their contribution. That sort of thinking has to come into the policymakers, into the industries, and into the universities and academia. Then only things will start changing in the scale which we want. And just like that, being in a kind of academic institution, or being in the policy, or being in the research, we are talking very high of those things which are happening. But actually in the ground, things are bit different. Deep aspirational biases in favor of the academic achievements over the skill development always coexist. No? With the widespread belief that the students should complete their academic degrees before entering to the workforce in white-collar positions. These are the kind of paradigms we are all fighting with. This is still a truth now. Employers must have the right to infrastructure. Another thing, when the apprentices are coming, we have seen, because in industry situation, I am from hardcore industry, metal and mining industry. There has to be proper infrastructure. There has to be proper infrastructure, how the apprentice people will be imparted training. There has to be a link between what they have studied in their classrooms and to which industry they have chosen, and what kind of training we are imparting them. How we are handling them, how we are teaching them, how we are training them regarding the operation, regarding the product, regarding the innovation, regarding the safety. These are the four pivotal things we are talking of. Then they are to also, the apprentice people should be having proper exposure to the marketing side, what the market needs, because tomorrow when they're in the mainstream, they don't have to produce for their company. They have to produce for the customers. Their company has to be oriented to the customers. So they have to be futuristic in that. So all these things has to be taken into account when we are talking of apprenticeship and upgrading the apprenticeship. So regarding mainly the universities, making apprenticeship compulsory higher education as a sandwich course. That is most important. Differentiation between designated and optional trades should be removed, and apprenticeship should be getting a global option to choose any trade, just like the National Scholarship Portal and everything. And a credit-based pedagogy and framework may be developed. This is very, very important, because under this system, the apprenticeship will get credits for the apprenticeship period as well as for the previous and current experiences. Nowadays, I really congratulate the industry bodies, because I am the convener of the CSR and the skilling in CII, and other Indian Chamber of Commerce, so ASSOCHAM. So I'm finding that the industry associations, FICCI, ASSOCHAM, NASSCOM, CII, they are collaborating with NSDC, MSD, and state government to organize road shows, meeting with industries, promoting apprenticeship training. But we have to do more work in this regard, and the exposure to industries as a classroom, during the academic session, just exposure to industries, seeing the new kind of thing which are coming, that's something which is important. Whenever we have taken our skilled the trainees to our Angul Jindal Steel and Power Angul plant, which is going to be the world's largest steel plant in one's location. So it is being upgraded to produce 25 million ton. And we are the only industry which are using in the world the coal gasification technology. That means we are not using coal, we are using the coal gas. So these are the things which are attracting the new talents. They are falling in love with the kind of innovations. So it has to be, and the industry is choosing the best people who are taking interest in their work, who are asking questions on that. We are trying to learn what it is, what kind of skill it is. So this is a kind of opportunity both for the industry and the apprentice people who are coming. Government has to play a pivotal role. I always congratulate the collector of Angul, who many times comes and leads this kind of people and comes and introduces the students to the plant people, so that we always feel that it is administration which is interested, because nation building is not only the job of the government, it is the job of the industries also, it is the job of the civil society also. And let us all realize it is the skilled people without whom the nation cannot be built for the envisaged tomorrow. So before concluding, I can only tell you that let's work together, the university, the industries, the vocational training institute, the governments, we all have to unite, we all have to join our heads, so that the apprentice should become a evolving reality and a very rewarding kind of opportunity to create a win-win situation. And finally, the country will gain, the tomorrow will gain, because we are enriching our skill pool. Because if you are thinking that by doing this, we are enriching the skill pool of this country, who are making a green economy tomorrow. That is most important. The emission has become a big issue. Energy efficiency has become a big issue. Zero discharge is being discussed everywhere. We are now talking of the planet. Let the planet be saved. Production is very good, but then it has to be planet friendly. All those things has to combine now, instead of thinking that a ITI person is just a welder or a fitter or a plumber or a AC mechanic. We have to take them to the next level. That is how we can make the country the global leader. And by 2050, we will become net zero in this country, and we can become really the from the fifth economy, largest economy, we can become number one. Thank you all. And this is something, a very broad input, which I am traveling, I have told you. But then this is the vision which I have, which perhaps you all will appreciate, or I don't know. But one thing I can tell you, that we all have to join together. It's not one man's job. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I'd like to request Divya to come forward and speak.
Thank you, Avinash. And again, hello to everyone and a very good afternoon. Real pleasure to be part of this panel. And actually, I feel it's nice to be the last speaker, because there are so many important and interesting points that have been said across all the panelists. So what I'd like to do is to sort of highlight 2 or 3 points, summarize and connect it to what all the other panelists have said, and then talk about two key things which I think should be the way forward for apprenticeship in India. So just to start with, speakers spoke about the value of apprenticeships and how apprenticeships are not just about enhancing the quality of workforce, but has a much wider role within the skills training ecosystem. And if you go back and look at the literature, there are 3 to 4 big things that apprenticeships do for an individual. They help them learn and earn. They help them learn and actually do work on the ground and enhance those technical skills. Equally, it enables them to enhance their soft skills, their ability to work with each other, work in teams, manage time, negotiate, and communicate. A wide range of multi-dimensional skill sets are being developed when workers or trainees work on the shop floor. They help them learn and adapt and become flexible. We all know that in a workplace, things don't go according to plan. Something changes, there's a last minute request from a client. Sometimes the technology fails us. So constantly, we are all adapting in our workplace. And we learn that as we work. But what best way to learn that when you're in the classroom and you're facing it as a young person? And that is what apprentices learn. So in some of my field visits in the textile industry, I have seen how young workers are trained to multitask just before a huge order goes out. So someone who is ironing shirts equally learns to master the skill of packing so that there is speed in the process of taking goods from the go down and shipping them out for export. So these are the kinds of skills that people learn on the ground when they are working. Equally, they also learn to be resilient. And this is actually a key point, which I think connects to what many speakers say. Workplaces are changing, the demands of employers are changing. Indeed, the world around us is changing with a lot of health shocks, economic shocks, climate change and other shocks. Workers and all of us need to learn to be resilient. Resilience, in fact, is a key skill for the future. And how do you become resilient? You become resilient by 1, having a multidimensional skill set. 2, by ensuring that your work is connected to a wide range of employers. So someone in one line of work can equally adapt. Let me give you a small example. About 10 to 15 years ago, digital skills were a technical skill, which was largely in a product of the IT industry and the IT sector. Today, digital skills are cross-cutting skills. You cannot be a worker even in the garment industry if you don't know basic digital skills. So this is how technology is evolving, and this exposure to the workplace in the early career stage will really enable the worker to understand what does flexibility mean, what does adaptability mean, and most importantly, what does resilience mean. So let me step back for a second and just let us look at this young worker who's entering the workforce. Maybe at the age of 18 to 20 years of age. They've had a few years of education, maybe some exposure to skill training. Some may have dropped out of work. They come into a workplace, and I'm imagining an industrial workplace. Let's imagine a garment textile industry, where they're producing large amounts of shirts for export. This young worker faces 3 key gaps. The first is that skill gap. They're coming into the workforce, they're put into a 2-week intensive training program, and they're learning on the job. But that is the first time they're moving away from the home, and they're facing a huge kind of social challenge of adapting to a new environment, and they're also facing massive skill gaps. So there are these skill gaps that are there, combined with huge environmental challenges that they're facing. The second big gap is the aspiration gap. You come into a workforce for the very first time, and then you're wondering, what kind of future is possible? And that question gets answered when you're in the workplace, because in front of you, while you're in the beginning of your career, you see a factory floor supervisor, you see a line manager, you see the CEO. These become reference models for them, role models that they can emulate, and an aspirational pathway can be created, especially for those who are entering the industry for the first time. And the third big gap is the information gap. And for the first time, the workplace itself opens up a whole range of new possibilities. You have information about your technical skills, you learn about your soft skills, but equally important, you learn about what kinds of futures are possible, what kinds of additional skills they need to acquire to move on in their career and indeed in their lives. So that is precisely why that exposure to the workplace is absolutely critical. And if you analyze the skills ecosystem, increasingly you're finding that gap between the training provider, the training institute, and the employer is being shortened. And the apprenticeship comes in the middle of these three, trying to reduce these gaps to ensure that any young worker is exposed to the workplace and they can adapt, be flexible, and grow in their career. Now, these points have also been highlighted by key speakers, but there are two things about India that is really important. One, the number of apprenticeships are very low, despite us having a vibrant industry. So if you look over the last year, you have about 5 lakh apprenticeships in a year, out of which only about 2 lakhs are in the private sector. The rest of it are largely in public sector enterprises. So a big question here for us to think about is what really needs to be done to motivate more employers to take on apprenticeships, because it's a win-win for them too. It helps increase their productivity, ensures a regular workforce that is efficient and productive. So that is one big challenge, and I think this is where industry associations can play a big role. The second big gap here is India has a big informal sector, and we're talking so far about apprenticeships in the formal sector, but there's a huge potential for informal apprenticeships. We know we're all talking about skills for the future, but can we step back and think about the disappearing skills, the skills that are just disappearing because they're not documented, because they're transmitted from a master craftsman to the next generation, and often the next generation is going into other sectors and the skill is being lost. So there are these traditional forms of informal apprenticeship, and how can that be also mainstreamed through apprenticeship so we don't lose those skills of the past as well? And that is an important question for policymakers to consider, especially in a country like India with a huge, rich, diverse craft tradition. So, and the last point that I want to mention here, when you think about the future, is what does success mean for apprentices? When I look at the literature, whether it's the ILO literature or information by the Just Jobs Network, which I really recommend that many of the skill fellows must read, because this really gives us a sense of the challenges ahead. What I think is missing is a very clear vision of success. Success in apprenticeship cannot just be an increase in numbers, the aspiration to grow from 5 lakh to 10 million or so in 10 years. But there needs to be a very qualitative understanding of what success is. Does it mean, and this requires two things. One, detailed studies and employers measuring, is there a better value for money when you employ apprenticeship? Is there an increase in productivity? If so, by how much? How does it differ across sectors? How does it differ from the formal to informal sector? There's an urgent need for evidence on these issues. And my last point is, in order to define success, equally important is to have a very clear metric of measuring success in very specific ways. So very strong monitoring and evaluation of apprenticeship programs is really crucial, not just looking at the numerical aspects, but can we look at tracing the career trajectories of a young person who's taken on apprenticeship programs today? And can many of the audience members just follow their life cycle over the next 2 to 3 years and see what has happened? These sort of studies at this stage will be really crucial in providing government with evidence to do so. And I think many of the Mahatma Gandhi Skill Fellows are uniquely placed to do this sort of innovative research, help define or redefine success and help measure it so that apprenticeships in India are truly path-breaking and successful. Thank you very much. Avinash, I think you're muted. I'm sorry. I can't hear you.
Now you can hear me.
There is echo.
Yeah. No, yeah. So I would like to thank all the esteemed panelists, Captain Amitabh, sir, Amarja, sir, Mr. Akash Sethi, Lucas Lines, Prashant, sir, Divya, and Himansuji for this wonderful session and the insights, the strategy document which we are preparing. We will incorporate all these points and share with all the secretaries. I would like to mention here that we have done a very extensive consultation with many principal secretaries before this conclave, and we'll share this as a strategy document. So thank you once again, all of you. Any questions? Yeah, please have it. Okay, like,
नीचे माइक हम किस चल उधर उधर ऑन है कि नहीं देख लीजिए ये कौन सा माइक देख लीजिए ये वाला देख लीजिए ऑर्डर उसी उसी चेक करो
Good evening. I'm Kanchana from Jamshedpur. So my understanding is all about this program is, but I feel that the ultimate program is not only creating good people to the market, the industry, developing the changes according to industry.
अभी देख रहा हूँ किशोर जी लाइव देखो अरे
Also about the industry to come forward and take this program seriously and provide the candidates, the students to let them capitalize. Because I haven't from such a participants here from the industry, right? Very less. I feel. Correct. So my question is not
just
but exactly the other stakeholders.
For involving this industry into this program, because what I feel and many of this speakers also told that this is a tripod, right? So industry is a pillar of this program. Until unless we can engage more of the numbers of the industry here in this kind of program and workshop in one day, I don't feel that will be very successful indeed. Right. So that is what my question is. What exactly MSD and the RDSD are planning to involving more of this industry into this kind of program? Thank you so much.
I'll answer this. Actually, we planned this conclave just to bring together different stakeholders. Actually, the idea of this conclave was to bring together all the stakeholders from Department of Higher Technical Education, whether GSTM or industry and academia, to have a discussion and create a proper document how we are lacking in different fields. Like we are not moving towards demand-based supply. For example, we are producing students skilling programs. Various programs have been running parallelly, but not integrating with each other at the end. So there are different departments like GSDM, which is a Jharkhand Skill Development Mission, which works towards optional course, means short-term skilling. And other than that, there are designated trades, which are long-term skilling from ITIs, and apprenticeship training is also a part of skilling. So those are looked after by RDSDs and state directorates. So they are different, and for livelihood promotion, there is also MORD, which is running different RCTs programs and DDU-GKY. So this conclave was to bring together this whole stakeholder to have a proper discussion. So
actually, I'm from that kind of program itself. I'm from representing GSDM here because I'm also implementing agencies with GSDM working with for skill development. My question was not that. My question was what exactly these stakeholders like MSD and RDC, what kind of plan they are taking to engage the industry. We have all lot of knowledges how to build up this in context of this very successful program of apprenticeship, right? We have all knowledges. We need to change the curriculum. We have to unlearn and relearn. Everything is fine. Everything is good. But what exactly industry is also taking up, coming forward and whether they are taking this program so seriously. So that is what my question is all about. Because I haven't found this industry here in the program. Even I participated last program in Jamshedpur. I found 1, 2, 3 employers like Tata, like RKFL and all.
8 industries.
8. So these are the industries every time they are participating in the program. What about the micro and small industry? Because Jamshedpur itself, I'm very big proud of part of the Jamshedpur because it's surrounded with the maximum number of small and micro industries, but they are not participating anywhere. What my feel is all about.
I would like to add one.
We are in the same context. So we are,
I would like to add one. We cannot see any PSUs over here.
PSUs are participating.
Because we have like
PSUs are participating very actively in apprenticeship training.
because they will observe the maximum number of the.
And we have said, one of the speakers has also said that most of the apprentices are taking under public sector. The private sectors are not engaging much of the apprentices right now. The industry point of view. Let me try to address. My throat is a little bad. Let me try to address what you're asking. You're asking very pertinent question. बहुत सही सवाल पूछ रहे हो और ऐसे सवाल पूछे जाने चाहिए और हम अभी बैठ के कैप्टन अमिताभ के साथ यही बात कर रहे थे कि ये ऑडियंस नजर आ रही है और ये हमें बता रहा है कि हमारा क्या रिस्पांस है, हमारा क्या रिजल्ट है. You asked a question. We had a conclave in Jamshedpur itself one time when I was there. See, my current feeling, my current understanding, observation is the skill development domain is not yet fully bought in by the industry. Is not bought in properly. Not yet fully. I tell you, government is trying its best. I spoke from there also. Government is trying to do a balancing act. Government's job is to run the economy and also look after the welfare of their people. यानी जो youth है उनको नौकरी भी मिले, उनको रोजगार मिले, उनका कल्याण हो, उनके परिवार का कल्याण हो, समाज का कल्याण. साथ ही साथ एक एनवायरनमेंट गवर्नमेंट क्रिएट करना चाहती है और करती है कि इंडस्ट्री एक सस्टेनेबल वे में सेफली, एफिशिएंटली, प्रोडक्टिविटी के साथ चलती है. नाउ अभी तक जो मेरा ऑब्जर्वेशन है, किसी ने कहा कि पीएसयू कोई नहीं है. हाँ, तो उमर ने कहा पीएसयू को होने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि अगर मैं आज ओएनजीसी, एनटीपीसी, मारुति, सेल, गेल इन सब की बात करूं, सबके पास, इंडियन ऑयल, सबके पास बड़े बड़े इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, ट्रेनिंग सेंटर के, स्किल डेवलपमेंट के बड़े बड़े वर्कशॉप है और उनको ट्रेनिंग के ऊपर खर्च करने में कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. They train the people to match their requirement and they are also not so much keen कि मुझे सरकार से 6,000 रुपए मिल जाएंगे कि 5,000 रुपए मिल जाएंगे और उससे उनका भला हो जाएगा. The kind of people we train in the skill development domain is basically these young people are required by the MSMEs. जो छोटे छोटे लोग आदित्यपुर में बैठे हैं या गगरिया में बैठे हैं या बोकारो के फ्रिंज एरियाज में बैठे हैं, सेल की बात नहीं कर रहा, उनको हमारे स्किल डेवलपमेंट के बच्चों की जरूरत है. मारुति को हमारे स्किल डेवलपमेंट की बच्चों की बहुत कम जरूरत है, लेकिन मारुति के जो एंसिलरी सप्लायर्स हैं, जो सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स हैं, उनको हमारे बच्चों की जरूरत है, बिकॉज उनके पास उतना बजट नहीं है, कैपिटल नहीं है कि वो बच्चों को के ऊपर खर्चा कर पाए, एक बड़ा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ट्रेनिंग का सेटअप कर पाए, एक ट्रेनर को जो 50,000 के रुपए पे आएगा इंडस्ट्री से उसको अफोर्ड कर पाए, और उसको ये भी अफोर्ड वो नहीं कर पाएगा कि ट्रेनिंग करने के बाद जब वो ज्वाइन करे तो 3 महीने बाद छोड़ के चला जाए. It is a big loss for such small industries. Now, what we have to do, the government, the industry has to work together to create a platform, to create a mechanism so that the skill development students, these students go to those small किराना दुकान जो खोल के रखे हैं, जो छोटी छोटी इंडस्ट्री चलाते वहां पे. So I would be very happy if this room is full of all MSMEs, micro, nano industries, and because they are the people who will be hiring these skill development boys and girls. Secondly, जब वो यहाँ से जब वहां जाएंगे, एक environment हमें एक facilitate करना पड़ेगा as a government, as industry also, कि ये बच्चे वहां पे they get enough to learn and earn both. Because lot of students, I can tell you my experience, lot of students learn and run. They don't stay there. They're all returned back. So we have to facilitate such an environment financially, regulation, whatever, that they stay there, they spend some time, learn, and then when they earn and start contributing to the revenue and profits of the organization, I'm sure these small industries will also meet their expectations and aspirations. So these are the things which is required from my point of view, and which I will suggest that MGNF, when they compile this report for the government or for the required organizations, they should put in such recommendations that these are the steps, some of the enabling environment, creating those enabling environment is required for the apprenticeship to flourish in this country. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
So
sir.
I have got
Now I would
one
like
point
to-
to intervene here.
Okay. Prashant sir would like to add something.
Yeah, I
ITT
agree with my former
ITT.
speaker that MSME has a great role to play here. But let's understand one thing, that yes, agreeably, it is the MSME which is absorbing this highest number of the skilled people. In fact, they are much ahead than the large industries in creating employment. But the issue is this, whether we have to, like the Mahatma Gandhi fellows who are with IIM Ranchi, whether we have to keep them at that level of MSME, or we have to really do some aspiration matching exercise by trying to link them with the bigger industries, especially those industries who are in the cutting edge of technology, who are really now into the artificial intelligence, or who are using the digital technology, even in metal and mining and other things. So they have to, their aspiration has to be bigger. So unless they see all those things, we all realize one thing, that for one example, in 1961, when the Rourkela steel plant started, the total investment was 4,000 crore, but the total manpower employed was 40,000. But now the total investment has crossed 40,000, but the manpower requirement has drastically reduced. So it is a fact that the bigger industries, the capital intensive industries, they are more on automation and they are not able to really get the live manpower. But there are technologies, there are work which is clearly dependent on pure human hands, and the big industries has an equal need for those things. So for aspiration matching, for the, at least to begin with, the Mahatma Gandhi fellows, they can have exposure, they can have interaction, they can have field visits, they can really come and see that how the big industries are functioning and how they are taking India to the next level of technology, how India is emerging as a global leader. All those things, if that thing happens, if that much IIM engages with the bigger industries, apart from the MSME, the aspiration level will increase. And no wonder one day they can break this cage and fly for a higher destination. And the big industries will also gain from this, at least to in the sense that there will be some kind of brand ambassador for them, that who will be talking of the innovative technology, of the cutting edge technology, and who can be tomorrow a part of that organization. Because we are talking of making a new India. This apprentice, this skilling, they're a key part of it. We should now talk of nation building with them, and IIM should play a big role in establishing the contact between the industries and the MGF.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to request, I would like to thank everyone again, once again. But we have three very special people here. They are very special because they are the local artisan. They are creating something very, and we wanted to recognize them. We have with us Mr. Paresh Chandra Mandalji. Paresh Chandra Mandalji is one of the local artisans. He is making the. So I would like to request you, please come on diet. We have a. And I'd like to request Captain Sir to felicitate him. He is making some of the idols, and he's from Chakradharpur.
So with the permission of everybody here, with the permission of all the persons in the dais, I want to take leave because I have to leave for the airport to receive my directors. So apologize to leave this forum. Avinash ji, I have to leave this forum with your kind permission.
Thank you so much, sir. Supriya Rani. Supriya Rani has resigned that Sokastham for the Honorable Government. I would like to request Mr. Prashant to felicitate him. Mr. Akash to felicitate him. Sorry. We have Mr. Karmakarji. Karmakarji is also one of the key person. Please, Karmakarji. We would like to request Amar Jha to felicitate him. Thank you so much.
Okay, with this, I thank you all the panel members, esteemed panel members, for sharing their views, and also the participants for their different questions. Now we will conclude this session and moving on to fourth panel. I would request all panel members to please sit at the front seat. Now I would request our fourth panel, which is constituted of SSC councils. I would request Mr. Narendra Deshpande, sir, CEO, Construction Skill Development Council of India, to please join us on the stage. And Mr. Paritosh Pathak, who is from IIM Bangalore, and Shri Rajiv Gupta, sir, to join us on the dais. And I would also urge the participants to please sit for us, please spare us for half an hour for this session.
As a token of appreciation, I would like RD sir, Anna Arvind sir, to please felicitate all the panel members here. I request Anna Arvind sir to please felicitate Mr. Narendra Deshpande, CEO, Construction Skill Development Council of India. Now I would request Anna Arvind sir to felicitate Mr. Paritosh Pathak. Now I would request Mr. Avinash Anand to please felicitate Ms. Sri Rajiv Gupta.
Hello. Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Yes.
Now I would request Sri Rajiv Gupta sir to please come on the speaker's desk to share his views.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Good afternoon, good evening, and all colleagues, participants, guests, panel speaker, and all the vacant chairs, which is very important actually. After hearing all great words, insights, experiences, wisdom, honestly, I have nothing to say and share because I don't have much to say to all of you. But 2 to 3 points I want to say to all of you, all panelists and all fellow guests here. If you know the transition of India after independence, from 1950 to till date, the population has increased 4 times, 400%, from 38 to 40 crore to 140 crores. Is it possible that one agency like government will take care of each and every aspect of a human in India? It's very difficult. If you see the all across the globe, the developed country like UK, Germany, Japan, the population growth of those countries in 75 years, only 35 to 45%. from, I can say, 4 crore or 5 crore to 7, up to 7 crore or 8 crore they have reached in 75 years. And India, from approximately 38 crore to 140 plus crore. This is the challenge of any government. This is the challenge of industry. And this is also the challenge of the whole humanity here. What to do? Academia has to play a huge role, no doubt on that. We have moved ahead. So many good institutions have come. But what about ITI, Polytechnic, Skilling Center? We are now just discussing all these three things in this present decade only. There were a few institutions earlier also, but we never had talked on those lines. This is the time, this is the decade. If we really want to take our countrymen, our fellow men, and our whole people of India to make them employable, to give them opportunity, to train them in a different multiple activities, we need to understand and the role of industry, the role of academia, and the role of government. They must collaborate and understand what to do next for next 50 years. Just for example, we have many agricultural universities in India, and irony, sir, they don't produce any agriculturist. They just go and take a job. They are jobist actually. They are selling their product. We are not creating any farmer from those agricultural university. What is the point then? We have many colleges where we are getting a knowledge of accounts and finance. They are only producing accountant, clerk, chartered accountant, finance expert, no entrepreneurs with that course. We are not producing that. We need to think that way. There are many engineering, great, good engineering colleges like IIT and other colleges. They are going for job, thinking about the career in next 20 years. What next? Country like India having more than 140 crore of population. You cannot make a sustainable economy with the job culture. There must be a set of entrepreneurs. We have big entrepreneurs. We are proud of that. The steel industry, petroleum industry, or you name other industry also, big players are there. But this country needs active involvement of SMEs, micro enterprises, agriculturists, and to develop a service sector in robust, simple way so that they will absorb this human potential. I will not talk about the human resource. People are talking about the human resource. That means they are an input cost of the production line. Their human potential, how to train them, how to educate them, how to empower them, what to do next for next 50 years, which is very important. I am seeing here the fellow Mahatma Gandhi fellow personnel here working with the different district administration. This is a high time to give them the right message in that particular district. So these are the gaps. These are the things needs to be trained to their fellow men. If you take the example of Jharkhand, the Jharkhand population is around 4 crores right now. And the urban population is 25%, that is hardly 1 crore. 3 crore population, their rural population. And with that rural population, if you consider 30% of the population, they are a youth and they want some kind of job. What kind of education system we are having at that level, at that remote level, block level, subdivision level? What kind of education system we have? You name 5 good schools in Ranchi or in Jharkhand that you are proud of, you want to put your children in those schools in the remote area. You will not find that school. There was one unique school in Ranchi, nearby to Ranchi, Netrahat, and that was considered as one of the best schools in India. Where is it right now? We are not upgrading ourselves in the education system. We are having many IIMs right now, good IIT also. But where is the school system? You cannot name 5 ITI in Polytechnic that we are proud of that. Yes, Jharkhand has that ITI in Polytechnic. And all those students, I had seen a few NCC students here. They were from, I think, ITI here. I simply asked, what are you doing? Sir, मैं तो यहाँ पे fitter का ट्रेनिंग ले रहा हूँ. So what's your expectation? Sir, 2 साल का कोर्स है and then salary कितने मिलेगी? I'm expecting 40-45,000 rupees. This is the gap of mindset. Even they don't know कि 40-45 का मुझे जॉब मिलेगा और क्या काम करना है. काम क्या करोगे सर मुझे मालूम नहीं, कहाँ जाना है मुझे मालूम नहीं है. आपके सीनियर एलुमनाई को क्या पैसे मिले हैं? Sir, I have no idea. I simply ask, you are wearing 2 kind of dress. एक थोड़ा कमांडो टाइप का ड्रेस, एक दूसरा ड्रेस पहनो. I just asked few students and they could not interpret and explain कि ये ड्रेस अलग क्यों उन्होंने पहना है. So this is the situation of our ITI in Polytechnic. Who will handhold them? I request all good institutions like IIM, other universities also, if they combine and give them a right message, the government and industry come forward, let us join hands together. अगर हम लोग मिलके काम करते हैं, चीजें बदल सकती है. Jharkhand or all other states, they have a huge potential, no doubt on that. What is most important thing? How we are handholding them, how we are channelizing their energy. अगर झारखंड के बच्चों में स्पोर्ट्स एबिलिटी है and you're talking about you go and just learn the machining, you go and learn the CNC machine, you go and learn the fitter and all that, they will not learn. Their mindset is they don't want to move from this state, they want to be here. So what kind of skill they should get, what kind of infrastructure, what kind of ecosystem they can, वो हमको बताना पड़ेगा उनके लिए. Let's make a policy and all the policy maker. If you plan something, just focus different state from a different angle. झारखंड को अलग समझना पड़ेगा, बिहार को अलग, नॉर्थ ईस्ट को अलग समझना पड़ेगा, वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड को अलग समझना पड़ेगा, साउथ को अलग ढंग से देखना पड़ेगा. And each and every state has its own unique USP quality. चाहे वो स्पोर्ट्स हो, चाहे आर्ट एंड कल्चर हो, चाहे वहां पे कुछ और एक्स्ट्रा फॉर्म हो, चाहे स्कल्पचरिस्ट हो, आर्टिस्ट हो, पेंटर हो, डांस हो, whatever अपना. We need to identify those USP. And if you visit the different villages across the state or different parts of the state, you will find कि हर एक state का जो rural area है, they have some uniqueness and they're still preserving it. Like Jharkhand, we have so many sohrai painting and other forms of painting. They're very good in some kind of artifacts. जो डोकरा art बना रहे हैं, they are making a different kind of monuments. They're excellent. We need to provide, we need to give them a skilling, we need to hold their hand, train them, guide them. Yes, this industry should come that way also. Not only कि मुझे machinist चाहिए, मैंने पैसा दे दिया मेरा काम हो गया. There must be some kind of leverage. कि अगर इंडस्ट्री के 5 लोग CSR एक्टिविटी के थ्रू 5 लोगों को डिप्लॉय कर रहे हैं, आप उस गांव में जा रहे हो, आप लोगों को ट्रेन करो, एजुकेट करो, उनको बता रहे हो सारा चीज. So these are the burning things, these are the important things. We can handhold them. I can say that robust thinking is very much important. Academia, industries must sit together. And we cannot not only say if there is a gap, industry expectation is different, the demand cycle is different, and we are not getting the right blend of skilled people. Yes, you are not getting, but how we will get it actually? Whether academia is working on that actually, and the government policy, if they are ready to make a good policy, with that policy, हमको तीनों लोग मिलके कैसे काम करें, that is very important. So all the MDNF fellow, as you are working with the different district administration, you make all your DC to be a good listener. ये उनको बताना पड़ेगा सर आपको सुनना है, हम ये गांव में जगह पे जाके देख रहे हैं ये परेशानी है. You don't only just get their direction, their instruction ये करना है वो करना और करके फाइल बंद करके दे दिया उनको. You don't need to only satisfy their ego actually. You need to find out what is the best solution that you can provide and how you can help the society. You are the brand ambassador of India. So MGNF fellow ke through we can say ki all across India how to recoup and how to upgrade the local administration. You are the best person. With this note, I just close my words. Thank you for this opportunity.
I welcome Ms. Mona Gupta, who has joined us from Domestic Sector Skill Council. And now moving forward, I would request Mr. Narendra Deshpande, sir. Ms. Mona, ma'am, I would request you to please share your views.
Yeah. So good evening, everybody. And I was really wanting to be in Jharkhand for two reasons. Jharkhand is a very important catchment area for Domestic Workers Sector Skill Council. But due to some exigencies, I had to stay back in the state. But I made sure I joined virtually and shared my thoughts on this. What I would like to focus on, and I think what the stakeholders here would like me to talk about, is the informal sector and apprenticeships. So before beginning on that, thank you RDSDE and IIM Ranchi for inviting us to express our views. And now going on to the main agenda, for the informal sector, according to me, apprenticeship is like real-time doorstep skilling. You know, we have been talking about, and even in the morning session, there has been a lot of emphasis on doorstep skilling. Why we are talking of doorstep skilling and why we have MGNF, a whole, consortium of MGNF is because we want to approach district-wise and make our schemes accessible to them. And if we don't have that kind of accessibility, we cannot really make a dent on what we want to do, make India the skill capital of the world. So apprenticeship, according to me, especially for the informal sector, is the real-time doorstep skilling. This is where a candidate coming from a remote area or being a migrant or being semi-literate or being out of school gets an immediate real-time opportunity to learn on the job. This is my take. This enables his or her mobility, number one, enables on-the-job learning and workplace skills. Workplace skills are best learned at the workplace. This is where it happens. I will also like to give you a little from a real-time experience at the council. Now, Jharkhand, as I said, is a very important state for us for skilling because most of our catchment and migrant supply actually comes from Bihar and Jharkhand. Up till date, out of the 40,000 apprenticeships that our council has done, we did an analysis and we realized that the states which top are Maharashtra, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, UP, MP, and West Bengal. Jharkhand is weighed down. Now, why the numbers are low? There are two important reasons for that. The reasons being that it is a well-known fact that 30% of India's migrant population, especially from the lower classes, socially and economically backward classes, actually hail from Bihar, Jharkhand, and Andhra. So it is possible that while our numbers of NAPS training do not reflect Jharkhand as a premier state, it is possible that the population of Jharkhand is migrating to Maharashtra, migrating to Andhra, migrating to Delhi, and actually getting access to apprenticeships. But this is not a point of complacency for us. Why? Because we have no real-time data to prove this. Secondly, it's a fact that there is an absence of industry in Jharkhand which could support this kind of apprenticeship training. Now, we identified about 3 or 4 companies that are actually doing, NAPS in Jharkhand. But we would request more and more industry partners to come forward, reach out to me, and we would like to facilitate. We would also like to actually initiate a roadshow here and talk about the kind of opportunities that is available to the population of Jharkhand in terms of apprenticeships. Having said this, and talking about what as a sector skill council we can do to bridge this skilling gap through apprenticeships, there is another aspect to it. The other aspect is how much access to this knowledge of apprenticeships does a candidate have? Do they understand what apprenticeship is about? What are the advantages of apprenticeships? How do they understand a contract? Do they understand that they need to have an Aadhaar card for KYC? These are some of the practical problems which I think through our MGNF fellows, you know, when I went to IIM Ahmedabad, I, as a student, and many of us actually long to work at the grassroots levels, you know, and I'm very glad this initiation has come from most of our IIMs now by supporting MGNF and actually having, you know, and, you know, sort of talking about our schemes and policies all across the country. So I would say that it would be also, we are happy to do a joint roadshow together, a joint advocacy, how we can facilitate and remove these hurdles. Last but not the least from my side is women participation. We all know that women participation in labor force is very low as far as India is concerned. And already at the T20 and G20, we are talking about giving care infrastructure so that more and more women can migrate and participate. Now, apprenticeship for them is also a huge bridge to bring them on to the real workforce. So this is all from my side, and I would be happy to reconnect in which way we can actually make not only Jharkhand a catchment area for a regular skilling, but also for apprenticeships. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now I'd like to call Deshpande sir to share his views.
Good evening, greetings to one and all. I would prefer if we can make this an informal session, if you can, people just come down in the front benches. I think I'll be more than happier to see clear and distinct visible faces. Okay, so that's to start with. I didn't find much challenge. Thank you so much for quickly just coming over to the front benches, like, okay. Generally, when we are in schools and colleges, there is a lot of hesitation. Thank you so much. Because I believe making the very first contact in offline mode. I think digitally we are getting too much sucked into deeper and deeper digital concepts and things like that. So my first connect, I always prefer to be offline mode. I represent this Construction Skill Development Council of India. So obviously my background, educational background is also civil engineer. And I've done this HRM right from this state, that is from Jamshedpur in XLRI, Jamshedpur. So that's where I take pride into, and almost 27 plus years of experience. I'm very happy to be here. One, before I actually begin on to the topic which is there today, I would like to propose to both sir as well as my good colleague over the last few weeks, friend, that any program that which you would like to carry out as part of the state engagement drive, henceforth, and but restricting it to construction industry, just blindly offload it to us, we will do it and make it successful for it. So definitely, and we will ensure that the participation is of the highest numbers. That is the, and all things we will take on, like, but we want only the bureaucracy ka ashirwad support, that's all. Nothing more than that. So coming on to this entire skilling ecosystem, it is not that India was not having the skilling ecosystem earlier. As our history says, for thousands of years. Now, I'll be speaking mostly from the perspective of construction. So therefore, you will find a lot of references from that point of view. Any city you pick up in the country, including this city, every few square kilometers, you will find a heritage structure. आज भी जहां देख के हम लोग अचंभित हो जाते हैं कि वो ये कैसे बनाया रहेगा, बराबर ना? You go around as a tourist within your own country and find and see so many structures which are unbelievable to the eyes. You keep wondering as to how they have been made. Skills were present, and of maybe the highest level skills were present during that time. Skills are there today also. What we need to do is only tap the potential of those skills that is very much available in the DNA of every citizen of this country. Second thing what we need to do is that outside world other than me recognizes me as a civil engineer or a qualified professional in HRM only because I produced some certificate, correct? Because that is the world which the language is understood by the world like. But how good or bad as an engineer I am, people will come to know only when I start working with them. Buildings are getting constructed, skyscrapers are getting constructed, this beautiful auditorium is built. And who built this? The very ideas which we conceptualize as an architect, design it as an engineer, giving shape and size to this is none other than this, what we call as an informal workforce. Isn't it still a wonder of the worlds? I think people are missing out this wonder of the worlds, like every time we speak about the 8 or 9 wonders. It is absolutely unimaginable to see those workers who do not qualify, not qualified, build this such a beautiful auditorium. For me, it is just a wonder even today, despite being an engineer. The reason is because we have looked at them very differently. They are skilled, they are a bit of knowledgeable, but in an informal way, they don't carry the certificate. What developed countries outside India have done is that when you look at US, when you look at any UK, European country, or for that matter, Japan or Australia, a plumber or an electrician comes equally dignified in his own car, does the job and goes away. He feels proud to be an electrician. Somebody feels proud to be a carpenter. I think we need to focus on raising our informal workforce to that level of dignified job. That is where we need to change our mindsets when we look at them, when we get things constructed from them. Coming on to the industry specific, I'll come on to the apprentice. I hope everybody has not got a little bit of time. I'm not consuming your time, sir. Because I get thrilled only in talking. I've been in faculty also. I was part and parcel of NICMAR, Hyderabad campus, which is university, almost 5 years. So coming on to the construction industry, second largest as it is called today, but it will no longer be the second largest. I think over a period of a decade or so, it will be even crossing the agricultural industry. And the reason why I believe into that is that construction, I believe, something which is synonymous with the civilization of this country. Whether living or non-living thing, you need a shelter, you need a mobility. So civil engineering or construction industry for that matter is the evergreen industry. Second thing is that every economy to prosper, the premise of that economy is on the construction industry. And that's the industry which I represent as a council. I worked on the other side of the table. Last 2 years, I came on to this side of the table to see that how much the gap I can put efforts to bridge that gap particularly. Second thing is that we always keep talking about being informal, agriculture, maybe construction. There's no harm in being informal, but there is certainly need for us to adopt to certain traits of this formal industry. Because ठेकेदारी आज भी चालू है. We are not still moved into the garb of professional contracting, except maybe 60–70% I will put the degree of professionalism in, say, the topmost company like L&T, and maybe down the line it further decreases. I have had one slide which I have shared with sir also, if it is possible, you can project that. It only shows the demand and supply gap about the Jharkhand state only. And the skilling infrastructure that which Jharkhand state, which it has got as a dipstick survey. We have done this primary research also, sir. The data of this also will be released by August end or September. And then that will be kind of an eye-opener for us. And I think MGNF students, fellowships, I think will be very much interested in that. How many of you have done connecting with those things connected with the industry, construction industry? Out of all the MGNF that are sitting here? Pardon? No, when you do this fellowship for the 2 years, where did you attempt to connect with the industry, construction industry within the state or the districts that you represent? Why so? That is where the hesitation is there. And I think this is the same hesitation when it comes to apprenticeship. Government has done enough. It's a magical thing which is existing today. The framework is very, very accommodative. It is no more a policing scheme. It is a remunerative scheme. On top of it, why it is not picking up? Because industry is in a state of inertia. The willingness to get up from the chair, to pursue and adopt apprenticeship in their own ways that can benefit the organization. Most of this, yeah. This is, while this remains here, you can look at that. I am not going to dwell too much on that. But the entire ecosystem, when I said it existed, skilling ecosystem existed in previous era also, historical ages also, today also we are looking at it in a different perspective. What I mean to say is that if you look post-independence, 60s, these ITIs came into existence by an act. ITIs did a magical job when serving the manufacturing industry. But when it came to servicing the service industry, they started slowing down. 85s, 90s, or later, little later than 90s, most of these ITIs, government had come up with a scheme of making them available to be run by the industry on PPP mode. Even that probably could not succeed in a great deal. Today, an ITI, if I refer to one course of ITI which is connected with us, industry, is that draftsman course. 2 years, a student does a drafting course in ITI, whereas if he goes to an AutoCAD center, he does it in 3 months' time and he is getting a job. So why will anybody prefer an ITI? An apprenticeship, as far as it is concerned, I will not only blame a major part of the industry because it is in a state of inertia, but the major part is also on us because we have not done enough to bring it to the visibility, to make a lot of awareness, to clear the myths surrounding the apprenticeship drive. I think this has to be done on a war footing. The reason is because if you are going to take advantage, rather, when we keep hearing there is a lot of demographic dividend, I think a lot of years have lost only in saying that. So I think it is high time that we actually work on that. Otherwise, generations which I come from, we will have the onus of leaving nothing to the progeny that we are looking at. So even including you, probably scaling is a big business today. I'll tell you, I am coming from the construction industry. When I dived into this by sitting into this side of this table, government is just throwing money for any skilling initiatives. We look at the budget today of this current year, it is the premise is entirely on the skilling. We have to also at the same time tackle few more mindsets which are coming. बहुत सारे globally ये problem है, यहाँ पर भी problem है, यहाँ ज़्यादा है because we are little more emotional in nature when compared to other parts of the globe. The challenge is the mindset. घर के सामने स्कूल चाहिए, घर के बाजू में कॉलेज चाहिए, पीछे नौकरी चाहिए या बाजू में मार्केट चाहिए, जाना ही नहीं है कहीं, तो कैसे मिलेगा? This is also one more key area I think which we will have to address, especially the current generation. Be ready to go anywhere. Jobs are there because I personally don't believe in unemployment. When I go for any interview, I said, you send me to Mars, I'm ready to go there. Do you have the capability to go there, make me work there? Question is that jobs are there. We don't want to go where jobs are there. And unemployment also doesn't exist because if you look at certain skills which are there previously in the few decades ago, they are no more there today. But then some people, they don't want to lose that. Like in recent Padma Bhushan awardees, you saw one of the persons, Muslim guys, getting a skill, recognized for a skill which is almost getting lost from Karnataka. Okay, so we are not adapting to the changing times. Therefore, the jobs are also not there. Now, coming to apprenticeship, entire ecosystem basis is only on two words: employability and opportunities. Employment is something is really available because on one side, if you look at this Jharkhand state itself, on a national level, there is a shortage of 47% of construction workers. I am not even talking about qualified workforce. I'm only talking about numbers which are not there. If you look at Jharkhand state, there is 64% demand supply gap. Now, can anybody tell me that there is a employment nahi hai? Hai. But again, these apprenticeships or these skilling initiatives are impacted by the greener pastures. When I say greener pastures, people today, which we have to tackle the challenges that are more comfortable opting for Swiggy, Zomato, job. गाड़ी चलाओगे कितने दिन चलाओगे कितने साल चलाओगे people are ready to mop the floors of the mall in an AC atmosphere wearing the gowns, but they are not ready to toil under the vagaries of nature. So in order to address all this, our council is doing a lot of counseling and career guidance. Like I've left this small, maybe some of these MGF, I can give this. We have created a lot of audio video sessions. We have created a lot of awareness programs. Almost every month, 2 programs we are doing it in every state. I am ready to take up this on a priority in Jharkhand state also. So this is free of cost. There is no money. You can just download the videos, share it. Just let the, instead of sharing good morning greetings on a WhatsApp, please share this to the needy person. I think then we will have a better usage of WhatsApp also. Okay. So, or maybe the Facebook or the LinkedIn accounts. So I'm more than happy to give it to them. My concern is that only everybody has to, as most of the speakers have said, everybody has to actually work together, collaborate together. Not everything can be solved by AI. Not everything can be solved by robotics. जिनको बनाया human ने, वो human को eliminate नहीं कर सकते. That is the belief which I got it. Therefore, jobs are going to be there, irrespective of whether it is GPT chat, which is coming, or anything else beyond that also. Okay, so there is no dearth of employment opportunities, only the mode of employment is changing. But then that's where we have to get prepared. So any queries, I am more than happy to answer. Otherwise, I will conclude because I am little obsessed with speaking, like almost whether it is 1 person or 2 people or 200 people. I have got those queries which you have listed also, sir. Maybe I had come prepared, but then I don't see that big audience. So if you want me to just speak on those points which you have shared with me, I can speak. The very first point which agenda was put up for the panel was discussing the current state of participation in apprenticeship programs, identifying barriers to entry and participation of marginalized sections of society. Now today apprenticeship is available for all, not just ITIs, even experienced candidates can go and take it. Suppose I want to move into some healthcare sector, I can join there, get into apprenticeship, get a certificate. I'm against the usage of words, glamorous words like internship. Apprenticeship is outcome based, internship is not. With apprenticeship, you get a qualification, you get remuneration, you get a prospective job also if possible. Now, why? Maybe even IIMs, for that matter, IITs or engineering colleges, polytechnic colleges, or maybe for that matter, ITIs. They go for recruitment drive into the campuses. They have their selected tier 1 colleges, tier 2 colleges, tier 3 colleges. I, on the contrary, go and tell them, why do you want to go to campus drives for recruitment? Go for campus drive, for campus apprenticeships. If you have a requirement of 10 people as a recruitment, go for taking 20 people an apprenticeship. Let them go through the apprenticeship program, select the 10 best out of them, offer a recruitment. Not only that, today we are looking at I think one point which was not covered in any of this session is that government only says that do apprenticeship. We only want you to ensure that you are only compliant with 2.5% of your organizational strength or that locational strength. Government is not asking anything beyond supporting. And government has further said that in a construction, for example, if I come across, most of the, rather any industry, 70 to 80% staff is the frontline staff. Government says that don't restrict yourself to 2.5%. Go up to 15%. Recruitment cost is the heaviest cost. Take advantage of apprenticeship. What is that? So take advantage of that industry. Tell them कि जहां 10 चाहिए वहां 20 लो, 10 6 महीने के बाद उनको ऑफर करो, 10 को गुड बाय कर दो. Okay, so all these things are there. I can share a lot of information, but thank you very much for a patient hearing to me. Probably I think for a larger crowd, I would have given a lot of detailed inputs to a presentation. But if you have any personal queries also, my contact details are there with the officers here. You can always connect with me, even MGNF. If you have any queries, you can still connect with me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Now I would request Mr. Ravinder Singh, sir, who has joined us virtually.
Am I audible? Good afternoon. Am I audible?
You are audible.
Thank you. So I'd like to thank the Regional Directorate for inviting me to this very, very purposeful, meaning-oriented workshop. I was hearing my colleague in the past presentation that he was making, very passionate. And that's the kind of passion that is required to make apprenticeship successful in the country. Apprenticeship, as we have seen, has undergone a series of changes, and I represent a segment which is slightly different. I work for the Skill Council for Persons with Disability. We focus on mainstreaming PWD population in the country and India. Towards this, we not only work with the industry in identifying courses and jobs where their meaningful employment can be obtained for these people, but also to adapt the training methodologies. There is a perceptive barrier to hiring these people. And I'm saying a perceptive barrier. When one looks at disability, disability is integral to life. All of us have faced some kind of disability. You'll have to pardon me because I got a very bad cold. So disability is integral to life. All of us face some kind of disability, either temporarily or permanent over a period of time on account of old age, illness, and a lot of people unfortunately face it by birth also. When one looks at integrating this diaspora, which accounts for close to 15% of the global population as per the UN studies, one has to have a very pragmatic and an open-minded approach. I'll give you a very simple example. For years together, we have been proposing that work from home opportunity should be provided to the persons who are differently abled. And the industry would kept telling us that, no, that is not possible. People have to come to work, so on and so forth. And suddenly 2020, the entire world was working from. And that has opened up a huge opportunity, especially in the IT sector, where who are differently able and not able to commute on a regular basis can work from home. And that's where the apprenticeship opportunity also starts opening up. I'll just highlight two critical points when we are hiring a differently abled person. One, when you're hiring a differently abled person, your apprenticeship portal has to be adapted to address the disability requirements. First and foremost, sir, is when you're looking at the portal, it should map out that which industries are willing to hire PWDs, with which kind of disability are they willing to hire? Because there are 21 different specified disabilities that are there. So which disability is the person, is the industry looking at hiring that person with for that particular job role? Two, the industry also needs to make some kind of a workplace adjustment in terms of either the infrastructure that needs to be adapted to make it accessible for people, and also orient the manpower, the colleagues, the peer group, the seniors, so on and so forth, as to the nature of the different ability of this person and how it can be addressed. And most important, when you're hiring a differently abled person as an apprenticeship, make sure you don't hire a single person. They should be at least hired in pairs so that they're able to communicate with each other and express with each other the challenges that they are facing. So it's not very difficult. It's very easy. One can go ahead and do it. Industry-wise, wherever we have spoken to, be it tourism and hospitality, be it some of the manufacturing companies, the differently abled diaspora predominantly demonstrates significantly higher productivity. So it actually makes a sense to hire these people. So with that, I'd like to hand the mic back to the audience. If you have any queries, questions, do let me know, and then we can take the discussion forward.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would request Mr. Paritosh Pathak, sir, to share his views and concluding remarks for this session.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It has been a long day for everyone. And just take a couple of minutes and then finish up the things. And I would so based from my experiences of the MGNF, so I'll stick to the MGNF program and what can can be achieved down the line, the 4 or 5 months that are left in the program, right? So all the ideas and at the level of policies, at the level of stakeholders, lot of things that have been shared throughout the day. So my suggestion to the fellows would be to basically connect with the candidates and at your districts to the remotest areas. You can also figure out only a small gram panchayat also. That can be also a model for you. And understand their aspirations and what's their understanding about livelihoods and jobs, and that perspective is very important, because just on the supply side, if you are supplying a number of things and the receiver is not decoding it in accepting it in the right way, then it becomes a bit hard to get the results out of that and get those numbers, which we through the gap, all this gap analysis and everything, you must be observing that there is a huge gap between the training and when it comes to placements or the retaining the jobs. Yeah. Then also you can counsel them, because our earlier phase 1 fellows and fellows in you can share the example of Karnataka or Goa fellows. So they are also having some counseling sessions with these candidates. Okay, so that becomes useful when those candidates understand. Okay, this is my future if I get through this line or no. They create some kind of vision also. That is the creation of vision is also very important. I think most of you will be going to villages also, right? So nowadays, almost everybody, every youth will be using a smartphone, right? Whether they are educated or illiterate, still they are using it. And if we consider a smartphone, that's a highly technological device. So is there anyone training them to use those phones or drive motorbikes and all, right? So out of interest only they develop that interest, and then they learn those skills to use such things, right? So there is no dearth of intelligence or intellect. It's a thing that the interest part is missing somewhere. So we have to match that their aspiration with the interest, right? Whatever we are offering and whatever potential is there in the market, because like sir said, the jobs people tend to find nearby only. Everybody cannot migrate, right? And migration is not the only solution also, right? Because it will again lead things into another big issues of highly urban cities and all, right? So they should understand the economy. You should try to counsel them. I think if one MGNF is able to counsel and help or bring in the behavioral change, even in 10 candidates also. So that's also will be a great achievement for you guys, right? And also try to bring all the stakeholders, like this conclave is happening. We are having all the stakeholders across from all the dimensions here. So similarly, some events you can plan for your own district, wherein people come together and share the ideas. And the center of point should be the candidates, because everything is planned for their benefit, right? So we cannot just plan without them. So the planning should be participative. They should get motivated, and they should build into the interest. Okay, this is the thing, and everybody is coming for me, right? And with that, obviously they will get along, because Jharkhand being kind of a challenging state when it comes to economy and opportunities. So the mindset of the candidates is also very I should not say backward, but they did not get that opportunity to have good visions, because they have been seeing all the struggles, their parents and all, right? So those things build our behavior and our nature and how we see the things, right? So that needs to be focused upon, and some kind of behavior change and some kind of positivity should be tried to bring in them, right? And yeah, so that was my kind of session from the learnings which I'm having from my work in the development sector, and especially into the skilling part. And I would thank Mr. Rajiv Gupta ji, Ms. Mona Gupta, Mr. Narendra Deshpande ji, and Mr. Ravind Singh ji, who addressed the audience and shared their valuable insights in and making this entire conclave a successful event. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I thank all the panel members who joined us on the dais, and with this also concludes our whole day event. And I thank all the participants who have joined from different academies, industrialists, and departments. So we will sharing this whole discussion to a concluding document, which will publish in 20 days, and including all the agenda points and what we have discussed here. And the next, basically, we can call it the action plan for the next 2 years. So with this, we can conclude this event, whole event. So thank you for all participants and panel members. Any questions? Yes, one questions from the.
I don't have any question.
Yeah.
I want to maybe a little louder. You can come closer.
Switch it on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not actually a question, it's a suggestion. I came from DVC Panjab, it's actually in Dhanbad district. So recently we started engaging with apprentices, and since it is a remote area, so we started very recently. And while engaging apprentices, we were facing a lot of problems, and we didn't have any contact person to talk to regarding this apprenticeship portal, how to engage, how to evaluate, and footfall. The output is also very less. If these MGNF, the one person was saying, you should collaborate with all the people. I'll go to villages and talk to all the students and convince them and counsel them. Likewise, if you people MGNFs come to our organizations and talk to us, if you organize some kind of events with students, organization, some kind of small meetings, conclaves, kind of things, it will be very much beneficial to us. And we will also go to along with you to the students and convince them what kind of opportunities we can provide them. It will be kind of win-win opportunity for everyone, for all of us. This is what I was going to say. Thank you.
Is already organized by RDSD as well, and the AAA they are also organizing different.
Actually, I didn't see this kind of events in Dhanbad district. If you can provide any number of MGNF working in Dhanbad. Okay. Jamtara is nearer to us. Yeah, okay, thank you. So, thank you. So finally, we have reached now to end this entire conclave. So on behalf, before coming to that, I would like to call Naresh sir to felicitate Maitri ji. Maitri ji is one of a very important team member of our MGNF program. Thank you so much, sir. Now coming to the end. I would like to first thank my program, my Honorable Director IIM Ranchi, Dr. Deepak Kumar Srivastava, sir. All the program directors, Professor Amit Sachan, Professor Gaurav, Professor Naresh, Professor Rogers, Professor Bala, and RDSC team, me, Madavi sir, Himanshu ji, in guidance of Arvindan sir, we have formulated this idea and we tried to do something innovative, because in last 1 month we have interacted n number of stakeholders across the state. We met with several collectors and many principal secretaries, industries, and there was a very thin idea that what to do, how to bring all these stakeholders into one platform. Since we have done this in January, so we tried and in a collective team effort to bring all the stakeholders into one platform. We know that it is not very easy task for us. It is a very mammoth task. From last 10-15 days, we were working like anything. But hats off to Madavi sir, he was not well, but he tried his level best. Himanshu ji, the entire RDST team, that Sati ji, Kailash ji, and all these members. Now coming to our important dignitaries, I would like to thank the Honorable Governor, our Director, Padma Shri Ashok Bhagat sir, Babaji, and Sonal Misra ma'am, then DDG sir. I would like to also thank Sri SM Ijaz Ahmed sir, Director BOPT, Dr. DK Singh, Director VIT Sindri, Chatterjee sir. Now coming to, then I would like to thank Mr. Akash Sethi, CEO Quest Alliance, Captain Amitabh sir, Prashant Khota sir, Divya Nambiar, although Divya is a very good friend of mine. Then Kishore Mantri sir, he was also there, but he is Amar Jha sir. I would like to thank Madam Mona Gupta, CEO Domestic Sector Skill Council for attending this workshop virtually. I would like to thank Narendra Deshpande sir. Thank you so much, sir, for coming all down this year and attending this, because without the Sector Skill Council support, it is not very easy for us. Then I would like to thank Ravindra sir. Then I also like to thank Paritosh Pathak ji, program manager for IIM Bangalore. We work together in a very close coordination. He has also come down all the way. I would like to thank Rajiv Gupta ji. We are very good friends, a long time friend. And finally, I would like to thank the entire IIM Ranchi team, my colleague Maitri ji, Karthik, our IT team. Without their support, because I know what pain they have taken for us. And now coming to the most important part is the MJNF fellows. This entire effort is for the MJNF. Definitely, apprenticeship is one of the very broad KPI, and we tried our level best to do something innovative. And always we all work together in a very collaborative manner. My Jharkhand fellows, Tamil Nadu fellows. So I would like to thank each and every one of you, because without your support, you all have contributed. Please take my apologies, Shravan. I have missed your name during this, because the list was given to me. Might be, but I am very sorry for that. And I would like to also say sorry to the fellows who might felt कि sir आपने नाम थोड़ा जल्दी बोल दिया, ठीक है? But anyways, you know this program is because we have worked for a long time, so कभी-कभी चीजें बहुत हम बड़ी बहुत परेशान हो जाते हैं, बहुत सी चीजें होती हैं. So foremost, I would like to thank the entire other administrative team, Vineet ji, Shiv Pratap Verma sir, everyone for their constant support, and Dharmender ji, the IT team, Bala sir, then system administrator Dheeraj sir, Ramakrishna ji, and most Pradeep ji. He has taken the entire print to make it live, and most Anis, Sumit, Avinash, Sanjana, Sukriti, Mridula, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the effort. So very soon we'll come up with a document, and that document will be shared with all of you. There is some things which will be published soon. Thank you so much. And if I missed anyone's name, please take my apologies for this. Thank you so much. All of you, please join for high tea. Tea is outside. Okay. Thank you so much, Mona ma'am. Although we have in person.
Thank you.
So
We'll meet.
I'm looking after this MJN.
We'll definitely meet. Yeah.
Thank you so much. If you are there, we'll meet soon. Thank you so much.
Yes, we'll be in touch. We'll be in touch. Thank you.